And now we are starting. Okay, so I have in three different platforms. This is this is what I want to do today because it is currently in some parts of the world already New Year's, and where I am right now, it is not yet. I think I have another 12 hours to go. Anywho, so here I am, whether on TikTok, um, and then you can see there, I am on YouTube and I also have my podcast. The first one that I'm going to kill off straight away is TikTok. I have two accounts, and over the year of 2021, because I couldn't find I deleted my old Facebook account, and because that account was connected to my old TikTok, I couldn't get into TikTok. I didn't know how to get into TikTok, so I opened up a new account, which was intuitive reading. And over the past few months, I have realized that I am not regular with the reading, so I will be deleting that account and keeping the Iban Sasad. I will put it here, and letting go of the other one. All right, that's all I needed to tell you because TikTok is all of like what, 3 minutes. You can find me on YouTube. That is still going to be there. That is under Love Love Liz, and my podcast is actually a yogi's dark night, which I ramble a lot, and it's more like a diary than anything. Ignore the noise. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say to you guys on TikTok. Thank you so much for following me, and follow the Bansa set, and I really do hope that I will be more regular, but it's hard to say at this moment in time. That it really is the truth of it. Okay. Mwah. Thank you, and Happy New Year. Happy 2022. Okay, so now that I've already done that, because I really wanted to get that out of the way, this is the podcast. I'm going to put this both on YouTube and in my podcast together just because I just can't be bothered to. I know that people repurpose and recycle their content, and I guess this is another way of me recycling my content as well. I'm trying to streamline the work that I have done and all the platforms that I had open before. I no longer want to have those platforms anymore. Just like I was mentioning in the TikTok video that you just heard. I did, of course, on YouTube as well, have these weekly oracle readings until I realized that I'm not that into it. I just don't. I felt like it became another job. As exciting as it was in the beginning, and interesting, I did feel like because I was traveling a lot and living, just living, I didn't really feel any interest in being online. And I think that's very obvious because here I am, like this is multiple times I've been recording podcasts and never putting it on my podcast. A month ago was my last one, more than a month ago now, actually. So I'm a little bit disappointed with myself in so many ways. And when it comes to the TikTok as well, like I just don't feel any interest in being on social media. I'm just going to put this like a little bit closer to me. Oh, I can't. And you can actually see me. Well, anyway, you already know that that's a mic, okay? That's just a mic for my podcast. If you want to know where to find my podcast, if you want to hear my rambles, because it can go pretty long, this is just a warning. It's A Yogi's Dark Night. You can find it on Spotify and other outlets. I am under Anchor. I can't even remember at this moment in time, but you can pretty much find me on Spotify. And I talk about really my life. It's like a audio diary, and that's as far as I go, really. But I also need to find times like these, especially like at this very moment in time, where I have the time and the space to just consolidate my experiences, I suppose. So why am I here? I'm here because it is the last day of 2021, and I wanted to recap the year and especially what has been going through my mind the past few months, and how am I feeling. The last video that I did send, I think that I did post on YouTube, was when I was in Canada, and currently I'm not there anymore. And I'm not too sure whether I'm interested in telling anybody where I am at this moment in time. You know what? Like, what video I've been wanting to do for a really long time is why I don't like social media anymore. I know that there are many, many videos out there on, why people have quit social media, and I resonate with all of them. And I also feel like it's just been so dragging on me. Like I personally at this very moment in time don't really feel like I want to justify any of my actions and anything that I do, and put myself on social media. I know that there's a lot of people on social media, on my platforms, or you used to be on my platforms as friends, who were not really friends. They were just there because they needed to know what I was doing. I know that that seems to be a norm, and just because it's a norm doesn't make it feel any better. Okay, so I didn't like knowing that people were watching and not saying anything, and people that I know personally who used to be friends, and connecting with them again if I want to go and visit them, and realizing that they're not interested. They are absolutely not interested in knowing what I'm doing and to sit down and have coffee with me. They prefer to be on social media and to know my life from there as opposed to actually have a connection. That was a really big part of me deleting all my social media accounts back then. I think it was in March, April of this year. I have reinstated the studio, Our Body Space, just yesterday, and I feel like that's important because it is my business and it is my studio, and my studio is still alive, surprisingly enough. I'm even shocked to say that, because I don't really know what's going to happen with this Omicron. I don't know how to pronounce this properly. I don't know why I'm having a hard time pronouncing that. But apart from that, the idea of social media, you know what? Like, what it is, I don't want to spend my days scrolling. And because I don't want to spend my days scrolling online, because everything starts to feel the same, and there is so much information and so much content in every platform, not just social media, but let's say, like, all the movie, TV service providers, or even like podcasts or YouTube. Like, what, it doesn't really matter the platform. There is just so much content out there, and I just feel like it's so noisy. I don't, I would rather be outside. Definitely, I would rather be outside, out in the sun, and exploring and experiencing life, instead of actually, having to capture everything. I still do, though. I still capture a lot of videos and pictures, on my phones, as you can tell. I have three phones now. Like, this is ridiculous. I have three phones now. And I know that eventually I will share, but I'm at this point at the moment where I don't feel like sharing. I don't have anything to share. I don't feel like I want to put my life out in display for anyone, for many reasons. One reason is I don't want people to know what I'm doing with my life. I don't, even if they're not judging, and I know that I should not care how people judge me or what they say, but I can't help but do. And that's the reason why I don't want to be on social media, because I don't really need to be judged. I don't need eyes watching me and not talking to me. I don't need people who don't like me having a glimpse of what it is that I'm doing. I can't stand that shit anymore. I really can't stand that shit. The other thing about social media is that it's constant. Like, you're always having to put your whole life up on social media, or I don't know if that is just like a very fake obligation. But with the business and with everything that I was doing with work, I felt like it was necessary to be relevant, and not only to be relevant, but to show that I am relevant, to show that I'm active, to show that I'm working, to show that I'm intelligent. And I'm tired. I'm really tired. I honestly think that this might be a midlife crisis happening at this very moment in time. I mean, this is probably what happens with anybody and they're like coming into their 40, like that. I just feel like the idea of me putting my life up on screen just sounds absolutely disgusting at this very moment in time. I do want to share, but I also feel like what else is there to share when there is already so much content out there? So much content out there. And I am very busy living and experiencing. Um, I tell people all the time that I don't like playing games. I don't like playing card games and video games and all these games because life is already such a game already that I have to like, I feel like I need to have my wits about me. I don't mean like gird my loins and be tense, but I was brought up to work hard and to show people that I am a hard worker and that I am smart. I think also not only just being, I guess, very small, very Asian, very native, and woman, I feel like I have to prove more of myself. Is that true? I'm not too sure. And I have worked very hard to show people that I don't care and I get to do what I want. And for the most part, I do what I want. And like as in the sense that if I do have to work, then I'm going to work this way in a way that is fun. If I do have to study, it better be something that I really enjoy. If I have to do anything, then it better be something that I'm happy with. And then I've come to a point where it's like, okay, so now that I've done everything that I feel that I could do, I am not happy, guys. I mean, that's the reason why I got into mental health, or I stumbled into mental health. And maybe I've always had a mental health issue. Discovering that I had problems, um, because it almost feels like I just created like this big facade. I can't stand it. I couldn't stand looking at myself in the mirror. I mean, I obviously had to shave my head, which is not growing very well, by the way. Um, and, and decide that like I can't live like this anymore. If I want to do something, I want to do it, not because I have to prove something or to make money. I really want to come from a place that brings me some sort of happiness where it's like I'm not rushing and I'm not pushing and I'm not feeling like I'm being judged or feeling like people want to have a comment or a narrative in my own story. It's now my story. It's going to be my story from now on. Whatever that story may be, it's got to be my story from now on. So I'm not going to be on social media as much anymore. I really am not. I don't know how long for. I will continue with definitely this YouTube and this podcast because in a way there is a release in that and there could be an addition to this as well. I just don't know what it's going to look like at this moment. I just don't want to come from a place of stress and urgency anymore. Honestly, I don't. I don't want to come from a place of stress and urgency. It's so tiring to come from a place of stress and urgency. And it does not matter what anybody says. Like, don't give a shit what anybody says or what anybody thinks. Yeah, I don't. And knowing that I am sensitive and I do care about what people think, the best is to not be on social media. Is to not be on social media where like I don't need to. There is no need to at the moment. I am not. I can put my business up. I don't have to put me up there. Not right now. I don't really know. I have absolutely no interest in it whatsoever. Okay, so that's already 14 minutes. Yeah. It's been wild. 2021 has been so wild. And it feels like I'm just starting. Like I finally, not yet completely, have this tower of my life crumbling, and that's good. And while before, ignore the alarm, don't know what's going on outside. And while before circumstance had to help me tumble the tower, I am feeling so much more in control to crumble it myself, to completely crumble it myself. I'm not like, I don't give a damn. Like, there's absolutely nothing right now that makes me feel like I want to go back to the life that I had. Zero. Zero. I have a number of people who are still reaching out to me on WhatsApp, and that's really good. It makes me feel very, very loved. I am surrounded by people who do love me, where I am surrounded by. And so I feel like that's currently enough. And then we'll see. We're going to see what's going to happen with our body space, with my studio. It seems like there's going to be another variant. If there is already a variant. But yeah, let's see what happens in the year 2022. But I can create a life that makes me feel safe. You know, it's so easy to say, don't care what other people think. That's really too easy to say. Because I do. And I don't want to. And because I don't want to care what people think anymore, I can make it safe for myself and just not be so online and just experience life as it is. Whatever it looks like. I'm also considering like just not, usually every year I pick up a new course and I pick up a new course and I learn because I love learning, but then these courses are so expensive, and then I feel like I have to work hard to pay off all the courses that I've subscribed to and registered to and went through. I also do not subscribe to this shit anymore either, because I also feel like I've learned so much. I've learned so much and I've studied so much and I have so much knowledge in so much stuff. And do I want to learn more? No. What's wrong with what I already have? Yeah. The idea of no, I just don't. I need to really consolidate my finances. I'm really down to like nothing at this moment. And I really, really, really need to take a step back and decide what it is that I want to do next, or not. Or not. I've been watching astrologers and they're saying that this year, not this year, coming December and January, it's going to be pretty rough. There are some changes and there's going to be more changes. Of course, there's going to be more changes. That's the whole point of life. But if I can continue, I feel like the simplest thing that I can do is be in the present moment, not be on social media. Be in the present moment, not to share my life with anybody, but be in the present moment. I am here now, and that's all that matters. Yeah. Anytime I think anything further than that, I go into some crazy anxiety attack, which is absolutely, it's too much, as long as I eat healthy and I exercise and I do the things that bring me joy, but that I don't have to make it a job, I think works so much better. It's been painful just realizing the train that I've been on for a very, very long time. It's been painful to also see and feel and witness and experience relationships that have ended and relationships that definitely need to end, to move on, to grow. All of this has been sad. It's been bittersweet because it's like, at the same time, I would have not imagined that I would be traveling over the pandemic, that I would be living during the pandemic in a way that brings me so much joy and peace and happiness. I did not expect that to happen. So it has been bittersweet, and I'm so grateful for everyone who's been part of my journey, um, who have given me blessings and joys and laughters, and who's actually taught me things too. I've learned that people will live the way they want to live. Even if they're suffering, they're going to live. They're going to want to live the way that they want to live, and they're not going to change. So why am I there in their business knowing that they're not going to change? I might as well continue to work on myself and enjoy myself, right? Because everybody's doing their own deal, so I might as well just kind of work on myself. Like, I don't need to be taking care of everybody else, or I don't. I don't. Okay, so it's already been 20 minutes, and I think that's enough for the podcast and this YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. I don't think I'm going to be doing any more weekly oracle card readings on YouTube, so I'm going to be deleting that particular part of the channel. Yeah, and then we'll see what's going to happen next. I'm really streamlining as much as I can, because yeah, just to make space more for 2022. It's exciting. Thank you for watching, and thank you for listening.